Hi dear students, welcome to Vishnu IAS Academy. First of all, we are very happy seeing your responses, overwhelming responses for the video which we uploaded yesterday regarding 7 tips, 7 takeaways for the mains examination. If you are giving mains examination this year or if you are going to appear for the next year 2025 UPSC CSE, those 7 tips would be very helpful. That is something that you have to keep, you have to mind it while writing the answers, going for the content, etc. So we are getting good responses. Thank you so much. And meeting the requirements or meeting the demands or request of our students community, so we are coming with a few more videos with regard to mains answer writing. On behalf of that, today we are going to discuss about how to write GS1 answer, how to write in GS1, GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4. We have 4 general studies paper, and each of these general studies paper demand is different. They demand different approach. Okay, so today we would be discussing about general studies 1, and in the coming sessions you will be discussing about general studies 2, 3, 4 and essay also. Okay, so today let's see. So first of all, we have to go through the syllabus first. Okay, that is very important. Yesterday we have already mentioned the importance of syllabus. Okay, word by word decoding of the syllabus, or you just try to, you make sure that I'm not missing any of the words, not even the bullet points I'm telling, the words. Okay, so go through each and every words of the syllabus, make sure that are not familiar. Like, you should make sure that no words in the syllabus are new to you. Okay, so read it again and again, make notes, and have a strong hold on the syllabus. That is the first thing. Okay, whether it is GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4, this is the first thing. And now comes the specific thing about the general studies 1, your approach for writing a good answer in general studies 1. Okay, so you might be knowing there are 4 subjects. The bullet points we can put into these 4 subject headings, that is history, Indian society, art and culture, and geography. Okay, so these 4 subjects in the GS for general studies paper, they demand, I told you their demands are different. In the paper 1 itself, the demand for history, the demand for Indian society, the demand for art and culture, geography, there are differences. Okay, so the first and most important thing, I already mentioned that the importance of syllabus. Why it is important? Because when you are seeing a question, your general studies paper 1, okay, so whenever you are seeing a question, you should have that understanding. Okay, this question is coming from this particular bullet point, the broader theme is this. Okay, so that is very important. So history, Indian society, art and culture, geography, we will proceed and see how different approaches are needed in these different subjects. Okay, so history, if we are taking history, we have 3 parts. First one, modern Indian history. Second one is post-independence consolidation, and third is the world history. So world history, I would suggest you, don't go for any bulky books. Don't go for any bulky books. Take the syllabus, I already told. Take the syllabus, take each word of the syllabus and make a note out of it. You can refer our institute material or handwritten notes for that. Don't go for a bulky material for this world history. Okay, so this is the first point I wanted to convey. For world history, you should have a precise note. Okay, you should have a precise note. One reason is that we are not getting a lot of questions, but you should not leave it. Okay, no to be left. So world history, make a note, but don't go for, because in the market you can see very bulky books for this world history. Don't go behind those books. Make your own notes, short and crisp notes. Okay, the entire history, if you are going behind the content, it is very difficult to by heart it. It is very difficult to reproduce it. Mains is not like prelims. In the prelims examination, you have answers in front of you. You just want to recognize from A, B, C, D. You just want to recognize. But in mains examination, you want to reproduce it. Whatever you have learned, you have to reproduce it. So for that reproduction, your memory is important. Okay. So do with some limited content. Okay, and revise it multiple times. Okay. Now history. There is one benefit with regard to history, that is like you are learning for prelims. When you are studying for prelims, you are covering almost 88% of the, even 90% of the syllabus. That is similar for the mains. Only this post-independence history are standing out. So when you are studying for the prelims itself, this I am telling to the 2025 aspirants, when you are studying for the prelims itself, try to have a good memory. You will not have a good memory, you have to make it. Okay, so for that you have to revise it again and again, because if you studied for prelims, then if you using the same content, if you do the answer writing practice, then most of the part of the history will be done. The second point is that world history, I already mentioned, make your notes, bulky books, and please don't go. Okay, there are very like bulky books in the market for world history, which will not give you that much return, but you have to go through the world history. For the best strategy is that take the syllabus, prepare note for 1 page or 2 page note for the every wording. Okay, so third point, that is use maps to locate the places. If whenever you are getting a question, okay, whether it is in world history, especially in world history, Indian history, art and culture, okay, post-independence consolidation, if there are some places involved, please try to draw a map, Indian map or world map or Asian map. So you start practice drawing it, because geography, history is where more than history, in geography, maps will help you a lot. Okay, so try to make notes of the map. Yesterday I already told you in the session, make ready-made maps with you. Okay, and you under the each bullet points you should have some maps in history, in geography, or wherever you can. So in history, whenever some places or some areas, for example, famine in India in the colonial period, famine was there. Oh yes, so what were the most affected areas? So those areas you can make a map. For example, I am telling. So this way in history, it would be very better if you try to make the use of map. Okay, and if there are some questions with regard to like Surat split, Gandhi's resignation, with regard to the INC sessions, okay, whenever such kind of questions or the theme of such question is the INC sessions, you can bring some, because see, history, when you are writing, history itself is comprising of fact, name, places, year. So if an author is writing a book for history, obviously his book will be enriched with a lot of facts, figures, right, date, places. So in the similar way, when the examiner is looking at your history answer and the society answer, even though it falls under the same GS1, but your society answer should not look like history, and your history, most importantly, your history answer should not look like a society answer. The history answer should have some kind of fact, some noun, some places, some famous personality associated with this particular theme, places associated with this particular theme, date associated with particular theme. Okay, so try to bring all of such. So this is an example to bring the fact. Okay, you can use the name. Viceroys also. For example, Bengal famine. Okay, so when you are writing about it, you can use the viceroy name. For this is a question which came in the UPSC mains. Why was there a sudden spurt in famines in colonial India since the mid 18th century? Give reason. This is a history question, right? So I'm not going to discuss how to write intro conclusion for this, but I'm just showing you an example. I'm showing you an example. Here, this is a question regarding to famine. Okay, so in order to look like an history answer, it would be better if you are trying to bring who was the Viceroy, Lord Linlithgow. So anywhere in the answer you can bring this, and also the year you can bring, and if there were some government initiative taken at that point of time, that also you can mention. If there were any act of that particular colonial government which addressed this particular issue, that you can bring. Okay, but you should not lose the theme. Okay, here they are asking the reason. Okay, so reason you should understand, that would be the major part, but in order to make it very look like an exact history answer, you can use this kind of thing, but don't use everything in a single answer. That is also a mistake, but then you will not have time to write the actual demand of the question. Okay, so as per the demand of the question, as per the theme of the question, as per the nature of the question, okay, you use this kind of techniques in the history answer. Okay, so you got this idea. What I meant is that you can use the name of Viceroy, important places, okay, in your answer. So it will look like, really look like an history answer. Now when coming to geography, history is over. Now coming to geography, the most important thing is that you should have maps. History also maps are important. Geography, see, this is a screenshot of the syllabus. Distribution of key natural resources across the world. So for the first map, you should have the resource distribution, natural resources distribution, which country have which resource abundant, which country is scarce in some resources. Okay, it is in news, because if you are taking note of that, this particular syllabus part demands it. It is telling distribution of key natural resources across the world. So you do one thing, those key natural resources, who are the leading producers, which country is blessed with such kind of resources, which countries are unfortunate with such kind of resources. You have a list, you make a map, you locate it, draw the map, you locate it, by heart that map, and whenever some questions come in the questions come in your answer, try to bring those areas, those countries, those points in the answer in the map form. Okay. And here also, in the important geophysical phenomena such as earthquake, tsunami, volcanic activity, how this can be linked to maps. If recently, there are some areas where tsunami, volcanic activity, cyclone are prone, if they are prone to some areas, make a map of it. Make a map of all those areas and make a beat in your note. Whenever some question come regard to earthquake, try to bring a map which shows these earthquake prone areas in India or in the global level. Okay, so these are very important. In geography, the map will play a greater role. And draw diagrams. You can be a good artist in your geography questions, because if they are asking some questions about plate tectonics, soil layers, some phenomena, wind movements, okay, so you can draw. For example, this was a question asked last year regarding the fjords formed. Why do they constitute some of the most areas of the world? So when this question comes, you can, it is very difficult to draw, I am not telling, but somewhat like this, it looks, and I'm very bad at drawing, but still you have a picturization, you try to have some diagram. Okay, not a perfect diagram, but in order to make your answer interesting for the examiner, you can bring this kind of diagram. Okay. And whenever you are starting an answer, answer in geography also, you can give the definition. If some concepts are asked, you can start with giving the definition. Or if they are asking about the earthquake, for example, then try to, in the introduction, try to bring recent earthquake happened countries, try to bring the current context. Okay, so because intro is the hook for the examiner, intro, we should think like that. Intro is the hook that we are going to give to the examiner. That will be his first impression. So no compromise on intro, no compromise on conclusion. From intro he will start. After conclusion, he will grant you the mark. So that first impression and last impression very important. So you should not leave a stone unthrown for this thing. Okay, so make your intro, make your conclusion very interesting. For that, this is one of such kind of tricks you can use, strategy you can use. Okay, and for some issues, especially in general studies 3, they ask issues. But here also, if they are asking some issues, for example, irrigation, if they are the question addresses, or if the question demand some kind of solutions, they will not explicitly say it. But since the question is the theme of the question wants you to discuss about some kind of disaster, some kind of natural calamity, or some kind of resource scarcity, whatever it may be. Try to bring some solutions as an example in the conclusion, or in the last part of your body. For example, if it is regarding to irrigation, then you can bring the case, example of Israel. You don't want to explain it more, just example. You can even write like this, example, Israel's practices in irrigation. So that way also you can make your geography answers more interesting. Okay, and here see, this question also came in the UPSC mains. Identify and discuss the factors responsible for diversity of natural vegetation in India. Assess the significance of wildlife sanctuaries in rainforest regions of India. Okay, this question itself, because here this question, see, the moment you read the question, the answer should come to your mind. Which intro, which diagram, which map, all this should come to your mind. For that is what we were discussing throughout the session yesterday. You should have the note. It is not the note of the complete content from the market. It is the note of value addition. It is the note which is going to make your answer exceptional, and it is going to give you good marks. Okay, not the content dumping from the market what you are getting. So in this particular note, if you have prepared the wildlife sanctuaries, the map of, just a map, and okay, wherever this wildlife sanctuaries in rainforest regions, example Namdapha National Park in Arunachal Pradesh, that's an example. Okay, so you can mark it. So these are the ways you can make your answer. So Indian society, next part is the Indian society. See, Indian society, the problem with Indian society is that we know the content, we don't want to learn, because the questions are being asked. Yes, last year they were asking about the addiction of our children to mobile phones. That is, we can see everywhere, na? Everywhere we can see that. That was asked by UPSC last year. Okay, but the problem is that, for example, if the question is regarding about marriage, we don't know how to define it. It is like explain what is love. It is like explain what is love. We know that love is divine, love is everywhere, but if someone is asking us to define love, then we will be in trouble, right? So like this, in society, many times students keep it silly. They think that, okay, I know patriarchy, I know what is marriage, I know why suicides are increasing, but you should have some fact, some definitions regarding that. Okay, especially if this is Indian society, so if some sociologists have given some definitions for example marriage or patriarchy, so take a note of it, because this is society. Okay, even though it comes under GS1, I told you history, society, art and culture, it all requires, it all demands different. Okay, now you can give definitions. Also, if the question is regarding some issues, for example, women empowerment, I have already told you about it. So if some kind of issues are addressed, then you can give some solutions to it, some government schemes for it, or most importantly statistics, some statistics you can give, and also bring multiple dimensions. Whenever I will show you, whenever you are coming across a question, for example this question, explain why suicide among young women is increasing in Indian society. So when you are getting this question, this is a society question which came last year. So what you have to do, think from every dimension, think from maximum dimension. Okay, political dimension, economic, societal dimension, if what has triggered it, is it globalization, Okay, so don't limit your thinking, try to bring maximum dimensions to it. Okay, see the questions you see. Do you think marriage is losing value in modern India? We know what is marriage. So here what you can give, you can define marriage. In order to look that definition or the introduction itself very interesting, you can go one step ahead and give a proper definition given by some sociologist, or you can even give like this. As in sociology, marriage is defined as a formalized union between two individuals that typically involves legal, social and emotional ties. Okay, so this is also important. See the questions being asked in society, very simple questions, but you know a lot about this, you know a lot about marriage, you know a lot about, you have read a lot about women's suicide. So that is a problem itself. That is a problem in itself, because if you know a lot about something, but if you have not decided like these are the things I will write about this topic, then you will be facing difficulty in the examination hall, because at that point of time in 3 hours I already told you, you can't think and write, you just want to write it then and there, no time to think. Okay, so be ready with all of these things, definitions. Okay, and art and culture, in the recent years it is becoming more of analytical type. So the art and culture demands both the factual content and good analysis to answer the question. See the question, how will you explain that medieval Indian temple sculpture represent the social life of those days? Even there were questions, for example, Sangam literature. When you are studying about the Sangam literature, you have to study about the social, political, religious and economic context to form an analysis part. Okay, and if some questions are asked about like Dravida or Nagara style of temple architecture, try to draw some features of that particular type of architecture. For example, viharas, that wall like things. Okay, try to draw it. So this is very interesting. See the question, how will you explain that medieval Indian temple sculptures represent the social life of these days? Okay, so temple is, they are asking about the temple and it's going little bit ahead and asking it how it represents the social life of those days. Most probably that would be a very difficult question, but again, see, this is because when you look at the PYQ, then only you can understand the trend, how they are changing, how they are evolving. So as per the changes happening, as per the evolving pattern of the UPSC, you should also evolve, you should also update. Okay, so this is about art and culture. So we have come to an end of today's session. I hope you got something out of this. And dear students, please do writing practice. Now don't go beyond the content. Okay, try to limit the content at least now, because at least these days you should focus on arranging your content in the shelf matlab in your mind, in the proper manner. You should know, in this bullet point, this diagram I will draw, in this particular theme I will draw this map. This is the time for that. This is not the time for going beyond the content. And Vishnu IAS is with you. We are with you. The team, the academic team is with you for all the assistants. And hopefully prelims result will come in this week. So after the results, please do connect with us. We are happy to be with you in this journey. So happy learning, enjoy learning. If you have any doubt with regard to the preparation for the mains preparation, please do contact us. We are much delighted to answer your queries and assist you. This is me signing out. See you in the next session. Bye bye. आप फोटो टेकिंग